COVID was 5 years ago. Let that settle down. Feels like yesterday, doesn't it? Time flies. And yet, in our memory, that summer vacation in childhood seems to have lasted for a year. Time is funny, folks. So let's go back and try to understand what sorcery is going on with this thing called time. Humans have been obsessed with time forever. Like, we discovered fire, invented tools, and immediately someone went, "Cool, but how do we know when lunch is?" The Egyptians loved watching the sky, like Netflix, with sun and moon the main characters. They defined a 365-day year and a 30-day month, also dividing a day into 24 parts or 2 parts of 12 using a sundial. Then came the Babylonians with their autism. They were deeply fascinated by the number 60 being highly divisible. So we got 60 minutes, 60 seconds, and a lifetime of awkward math in school. Now that the math was figured out, in came the Greeks with their philosophy, of course. Heraclitus linked time to change. "You cannot step into the same river twice," he said. Plato believed time as being created by a divine being. Aristotle argued that it is not independent, but rather related to the ordering of events, simply being a measure of change perceived by a conscious observer. But this one dude named Zeno came and straight up said, "Time is an illusion." Someone in the back going, "So wait, do I have to go to work tomorrow?" He proposed these paradoxes, one of which was the arrow paradox. A moving arrow at any given instant is stationary, then the arrow is in fact never moving. Let bro cook. He hit us with another. To travel anywhere, one must first travel half of that distance. Before that, it must travel half of that half, and so on, requiring an infinite number of tasks in a finite amount of time, making the motion impossible. Okay, I think bro cooked enough. I want what he was smoking. Anyways, fast forward to the Middle Ages. People invent mechanical clocks. Now the whole village has anxiety. Before that, you just show up whenever. After clocks, it's like, "You're late." Late to what? We literally live in mud huts. Then Isaac Newton comes along. "Time is absolute," he says. "It ticks the same for everyone, everywhere." This view dominated physics for centuries. Until Einstein, Big Daddy Einstein, shakes everything up. As the famous lore goes, Einstein's sitting on a rattly Swiss train, staring out the window like we all do when we're pretending to be philosophers. Suddenly, he spots the clock tower and thinks, what if this train wasn't going 40 kilometers per hour, but at the speed of light? Now, in Einstein's mind, he's zooming away at light speed, scarf flapping dramatically. He looks back at the clock tower and the clock is frozen, as light carrying the tick-tock can't catch him. Whereas to a person standing on the platform, the clock would seem to work perfectly fine. This was the birth of special relativity, aka time is relative. If you move really fast, time slows down. The faster you go, the less you age, which means astronauts aren't brave explorers. They're just trying to avoid wrinkles. Somebody suggested to that Brian Johnson guy, "Bro, you don't need those erection pills. You need a rocket ship." But here's the real kicker. You don't need light-speed rockets to bend time when two people in the same room experience time differently. Your internal clock shifts with your brain chemistry. Dopamine, serotonin, adrenaline, all sorts of happy and sad hormones alter our time perception, which is why an hour on Reels feels like 5 minutes, whereas you're fighting for your life in the last hour at work. Forget relativity. Family reunions slow down time more than gravity ever could. Heck, even drugs warp time. Now we know why Zeno really thought all of it as an illusion. He was onto that good stuff. How do our brains do this? We still don't know. Is time fundamental or emergent? We still don't know. But we do now know the answer to when your boss asks why you're late. Sorry, bro. Time is relative. Relative to what? To my interest in this job. Thank you all. You've been lovely. And no, I did not write all of that to defend my time in bed.